I'm sure you've heard about the Apple story. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak. Ever heard the name Jony Ive? He's the man who made Apple feel like Apple. On May 21st, Jony Ive joined Sam Altman's OpenAI. This sent ripples across the AI and tech world. So much so, even Apple's stock felt a hit. In a nearly 10-minute video on X, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman shared that Jony's company IO would merge with OpenAI. The goal? To work more closely with the research, engineering and product teams in San Francisco. The deal itself is huge, an all-stock merger worth $6.5 billion. OpenAI's biggest yet. Tech insiders are calling this a game changer. But why? Because OpenAI is giving IO a dedicated unit to develop AI-powered devices. And since IO's team includes designers who once shaped the Apple's iconic look, some are calling this OpenAI's Apple moment. So is this going to be an iPhone moment for OpenAI? And who exactly is Jony Ive? What is this mysterious IO people are talking about all of a sudden? Let's dive in. Before we get into Jony Ive's story, let's talk about this guy called Robert Brunner. He's the guy who got Jony into Apple in the first place and played an important role in Jony Ive's story very early on. Today, Robert is the founder of one of the top design firms in the world, Ammunition, a firm that has worked with big brands. But how did Robert meet Jony? Before Ammunition, Robert was at Apple, heading industrial design from 1989 to 1997. He's the guy who hired or tried to hire Jony Ive not once, not twice, but 3 times. He once joked, "When I die, my tombstone will say, the guy who hired Jonathan Ive." Robert first tried to hire Jony back in 1984, even before he was at Apple. Back then, Jony was just a quiet, polite English student visiting Robert's design school, Lunar. Jony seemed like a kid who not only designed products, but engineered them. And Robert knew talent when he saw it. But Jony turned him down. Robert didn't give up. He tried again in 1989 at Apple, but Jony again said no, wanting to build his own design firm, Tangerine. 3 years later, Robert tried again, but this time with a different strategy. In 1992, Robert hired Tangerine for an Apple project. Jony finally started working with Apple. By 1996, after years of playing hard to get, Jony officially joined Apple's design team. And by 1997, when Robert left, Jony became the VP of design. That's also when Steve Jobs returned to Apple to become the CEO. From there, Jony and Jobs, the 2 J's, made magic, designing hits like the iMac, the iPhone and the iPad. After Jobs passed, Jony stayed on. He collaborated with Tim Cook, the current CEO of Apple, on products like the Apple Watch. From 2015 to 17, he focused on designing most of the little details for Apple's new headquarters, the Apple Park spaceship, which in way was also Steve Jobs' vision. But in June of 2019, after 27 years at Apple, Jony decided to move on. But he was on to something. In the same year, he co-founded LoveFrom with Mark Tucson. Soon after, Jony largely disappeared from the public eyes. So what was he really up to? Turns out, he was making moves in the real estate, buying a building in San Francisco's Jackson Square. But why? To create a hub for designers with spaces for work, socializing and collaboration. One of the buildings was home base for his agency's work on automotive fashion and travel products. In fact, Jony's company worked with companies like Ferrari and Airbnb. Ferrari was one of LoveFrom's first client. But in the same vicinity, there was one more building. A building that served as the headquarters for a new AI device company in collaboration with OpenAI. Yes, you heard that right, for OpenAI. He and his company had begun work with OpenAI even before the acquisition. But how did that happen? This restaurant in front of you is Spruce, a Michelin star restaurant a few kilometers from the Jackson Square. It was where Sam Altman and Jony Ive met over dinner for the very first time to start a new company called IO. The company was built to collaborate with OpenAI to make AI gadgets. Now, fast forward 1 year later, IO is being acquired by OpenAI. It's an all-stock deal of $6.5 billion. The deal is a slightly complicated one, so let me kind of break it down for you. The 55-member team at IO will now become part of OpenAI. Apart from this, reports say that OpenAI will be a customer of Lovefrom, and the company will also receive a stake in OpenAI shares. Lovefrom will continue to operate independently. As for the IO team, they will start reporting to Peter Wellender, OpenAI's VP of Product, who has worked there for 8.5 years. But beyond all the admin related changes, the deal is set to be historic by many, because OpenAI is officially embarking on what is likely to be the most ambitious AI hardware project till date. To make sure this happens, IO comes with brilliant minds. Other than Jony himself, Evans Hankey, Tang Tan, Scott Cannon are also co-founders of IO. Hankey and Tang both worked in Apple's design team along with Jony. OpenAI with this is on a bold path into AI hardware, a territory where tech giants like Meta, Google, Apple haven't been successful. Tech insiders see this as a landmark deal. But what exactly is Sam Altman and Jony Ive trying to build? According to the Wall Street Journal, Sam previewed the device for his team, a plan to ship 100 million AI companions to become a daily part of our lives. As for the details of the product, Sam has said that the device will reportedly be fully aware of its users' surroundings, acting as a third core device next to a MacBook or an iPhone. So will it become another device with a screen on it? No, because by now Sam Altman has expressed his intent to take users off the screen, not on the screen. But he has also said that it won't be a pair of glasses either. In fact, it wouldn't be something that one would wear on their bodies either. So what exactly is happening? Because Jony has been skeptical of AI wearable devices. So we don't know exactly what it will be, but we do know what it's not. But that being said, reports tell us that Jony's team has already been speaking with vendors who will be able to ship the device to consumers at scale. Sam Altman's goal is to release the device by late next year, 2026. So yes, things are moving fast. Rolling out new devices that will compete with giants like Google, Apple, Meta is a huge deal in itself. Even Humane, a startup founded by ex-Apple executives, recently tried something very similar and struggled. Do you know what? Sam Altman was an investor there too. OpenAI's finance are also a challenge. They've told investors they expect to lose anywhere near $44 billion before turning profitable in 2029. But here's the silver lining. While Apple, Google, Meta are playing catch up with AI, OpenAI has already built cutting-edge tools like the ChatGPT we all know. Now, this collaboration between Jony Ive and Sam Altman could be game-changing for OpenAI. What this device may be, we'll get to know by the end of next year. But the real question still lies. Will this be an iPhone moment for OpenAI? Time will only tell.